welcome to Shocktober episode 3, and it's a car cast. Good thing it's going to be a short one. But today's Shocktober movie that we're going to talk about is a weird little Eli Roth produced horror film called Clown. Now this movie's on Netflix if you want to watch it. I've always been interested in it since I first saw the trailer. I knew it was going to be a fucked up little movie. I remember when the trailer was coming out, I think this was going to be a theatrical release, and the trailer was promising. Like, it looked kind of dumb but kind of interesting, and it kind of, I guess, was going to go to theaters and then didn't. So it eventually came out on Netflix and probably like straight to DVD and shit before that. I think it's pretty new to Netflix, but Clown is basically the story of a guy who finds a clown costume in an attic and tries it on. And after he tries on the clown costume, he finds that he can't get it off. And he slowly starts to become an evil, murderous clown. And it's a ridiculous movie. The premise is obviously ridiculous. I was expecting to go in and think this is pure garbage, especially since we were watching it at work. And a coworker of mine who had already seen it said it was a real bore fest up until the last half hour. But I kind of disagree. Like, I felt like the graphicness and the goriness and everything was pretty well spread out throughout the movie. It obviously picks up in the last half hour, and that's when it goes balls to the wall crazy. But the idea is he has to feed the clown costume 5 children specifically, because they get into this whole, I thought the movie was just going to be he puts on the costume and then all of a sudden starts just turning into this clown and murdering or whatever. I thought it was just going to end with him killing his family or some dark shit like that. But no, there's actually more to it. Like, they get into this legend of the guy had the costume a long time ago and he managed to get it off, and it's like, oh, well, how did you get it off? And you find out that he tells this legend about where the clown actually came from, that it was this creature and it would eat 5 children every winter, 1 for each month of winter. And so basically, like, yeah, you feed it 5 children as like a sacrifice, and then you can take it off. And so, like, as the movie goes on, the only body count in this movie, as far as I can tell, is children. I think there's 1 adult that gets killed. But then the entire movie is just children being killed and eaten by this guy, and it doesn't hold back. Like, he's trying to, they say the only way to take care of it is to decapitate yourself. Like, there's actually a really good scene where he's in a bathtub and he shoots himself in the head, and all of his blood is like rainbow colored, which is just kind of funny. But he lives, like, it doesn't kill him. So he gets these 2 saws and he tries to like tip a chair back and decapitate himself, and he's getting scared. And there's this little kid that's like bothering him. He's staying at this hotel trying to avoid his family, and this little kid is bothering him. And the little kid, for some reason, comes into his room. He's like, "Hey, Mr. Clown," as he's doing this, and one of the saws, like, he lands weird and it goes crazy and like ricochets across the room and through the kid's chest and kills him. And that's like the first death of the movie, and you're like, oh fuck, like, they're gonna kill little kids. And they don't shy away from it. They're like, they show the saw fly and hit the wall with blood on it, then they zoom over and show the kid with this hole in his chest, and he just drops, and you're like, oh shit. And then he's like freaking out, and he's like, well, since he's dead, and it's like his stomach is growling, then he eats the fucking kid. Like, this movie doesn't mess around. So definitely know what you're getting into if you're gonna watch this movie. It's pure ridiculous bullshit, but it's some worth watching ridiculous bullshit. If you're looking for a weird graphic horror film, you could do a lot worse than Clown. I gave it like a 3 out of 5. It's okay, and that's kind of where my rankings stand. None of the performances are really going to jump out at you. Like, the main actor is fine for the role that he's given. But the clown costume itself I thought was kind of lame, but as he starts to become more of a monster, it becomes way more entertaining. He looks like the clown monster itself looks really cool, like, especially towards the end. I don't know how much I want to spoil. I will say, like, in the end, it kind of gets crazy where he gets loose in like an arcade with a bunch of kids, and that part's really awesome. And then it comes to the point where, you know, his wife knows how they have to get it off, and he's already eaten 4 kids at this point. And he's like, "Bring me your child as the last one." And she instead, there's like, as they're leaving the arcade, this girl is lost. She's like, I'm lost and I recognize you from the dentist. Can you drive me home and stuff? And you're like, oh man, she's gonna sacrifice this kid to her clown husband. And she tries to, and it's fucked up. But at the last minute, she has a change of heart, and the girl ends up being fine. But then she goes home and finds her husband actually going after their child. And there's a really weird scene with her dad talking about hiding the body. I didn't understand what was going on there. I thought maybe he meant that, oh, she killed her husband and he's going to help her hide the body. Because, like, throughout the movie, the dad is like, oh, he's bad news. You should just fucking forget about him and stuff like that. But clown, there's not a whole lot to say about the movie. It's pretty simple. Like, he gets the clown costume on literally in the first 5 minutes. Like, I thought it was going to be a 10-15 minute setup, but no, it's like he's a real estate agent. He finds this costume up in the attic of the house he's trying to sell, and it's his son's birthday. For some reason, his son really loves clowns, so he's like, oh yeah, I was supposed to get a clown and I didn't do it because I'm a bad dad. So he finds the costume. He's like, I'm gonna be a good dad, and he puts it on like immediately, and then it starts to spiral out from there. There's a little bit of body horror stuff, like he puts on the nose and then he can't get it off, and they end up ripping it off, and it rips off part of his nose. And it's a lot of talk about like, oh, why'd you use glue on the nose? He's like, I didn't fucking glue it. You think I'm stupid? But yeah, Clown, produced by Eli Roth. I don't know who directed it, but it definitely feels like an Eli Roth movie. But I recommend it if you're into that sort of weird shit. If you like Eli Roth movies, you'll probably love it. I've always been kind of so-so on Eli Roth. Like, the first Hostel is fine, but I don't really get into those kind of movies. Like, for the body horror stuff, I like the first 3 Saw movies, and then that franchise spiraled out of control. But, yeah, so, like, a lot of his stuff doesn't do much for me. Cabin Fever I liked, but the rest of it is kind of so-so. But I like him as a person. Like, I listen to him on podcasts, and I think he was really great in Inglourious Basterds and stuff like that. But overall, like, his filmography is kind of hit and miss for me. And as I said, he didn't direct this, but he produced it. It feels like an Eli Roth movie, but this one it's enjoyable for some ridiculous bullshit. So I would recommend Clown if you're into that kind of stuff, but I wouldn't recommend it to everybody. So just word of caution. But that's going to be it for this Shocktober episode. That was Clown, produced by Eli Roth, directed by some guy. Watch it, don't watch it. You can kind of go either way on this one, but I would say give it a chance. It's on Netflix. It's free. It's only like an hour and a half, so you're not going to waste a lot of time. But that's going to be it. Be sure to check back tomorrow for our next movie review.